Hey, before we kick things off, I want to talk to you about how you can win a signed guitar by Luke Bryan. And that is courtesy of ChevyDriveChicago.com. All you have to do is go to ChevyDriveChicago.com to enter to win, and you could be the proud owner of a Luke Bryan signed guitar, Chief.
I mean, this is country music season, and he is like the face of like the US 99 country music guys. He's been around. How many years has he been on top now?
He played the 4 p.m. slot when I went to Country Thunder in 2011, maybe.
Okay, we're talking like a decade.
On Sunday. Yeah. And then he blew up shortly thereafter. Yeah. So, that's a good thing to have.
Yep.
That's a nice thing to have. You could buy it, and maybe your next Nashville trip, just walk into his bar with the, signed guitar.
Just right over your shoulder.
Right over your shoulder, yeah. It'd be
Dave trying to play like Stairway to Heaven or something.
That'd be a nice way to go about it.
Yeah.
So like I said, it's easy to enter. Just head to ChevyDriveChicago.com. And while you're there, check out the latest SUV and Silverado lineup at your local Chevy dealer. Great stuff over there at ChevyDriveChicago.com. Go win a guitar. Go buy a Chevy. It's that easy. All right, Big today is Tuesday. It is July 11th. Welcome to the Dog Walk presented by Barstool Sports. Here I am with Chief, as always. Chief, how are you? Been a little bit of a layoff for us.
Yeah.
And we're back.
Yeah, my dry July has commenced. It has commenced.
Yeah,
so I'm
right.
back from Minnesota. I'm kind of feeling like a dead body, to be honest. Like, it was a fun time, a great time, but like another, couple late nights and some physical exertion with that hockey game. So I think now, like this weekend, I'm just gonna chill. I'm chilling, no drinking, just chilling.
I bet you won't.
Well, Thursday I'm gonna try to go to Zach Bryan.
Yeah. So, yeah.
So other than that, though, it's dry July.
Dry July. It's not happening, probably. But you could try.
I'm gonna try.
Good luck.
Yeah.
So yesterday you probably heard the worst fan bases draft. So we figured this would be like a little weird pick six in the same vein because there's no weirder fan than a Stalker fan.
They just they just take it too far.
Yeah.
They just take it too far, and I feel like there's a lot of fans on the internet who are like bordering on being one of these people.
Sure.
Like where they're the people who are so defensive online about whatever it is. Could be Alabama football, could be anything. And it's just like, my team is the best team. They can never do anything wrong, and I will be in your mentions forever. I was gambling on a Clemson game years ago, and Deshaun Watson pissed me off. They were playing like Louisville or Cincinnati on like a Thursday night. I will still get like that tweet will circle back up. Be like, and I was like, Deshaun Watson sucks. I was just mad because he had one bad game and a game that I gambled on him.
Yeah.
And people were like, man, it's maybe died down a little bit with Deshaun Watson. His stands aren't as out in full force the last couple of years, but it just keeps like recycling because people just can't, like, if you go after their guy, that's it.
Yeah, and this is like to another extreme because
this is beyond that.
It's stalking, let's be honest. It's one of the most horrifying things ever because it's in the privacy of mostly your own home.
Everywhere, though.
Yeah, but it's everywhere.
Yeah, and we'll get into some of that too, like because Taylor Swift has like an unbelievable amount of security and like steps that she's taken because she just gets. We could do the whole episode on just Taylor Swift incidents.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Because her people are crazy and she's been around a long time. And so it's one of those things where it's like, I'm glad I'm not famous.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Because
and I think we're going to get to it, but so we're doing a pseudo pick six on like 6 celebrity stalking stories, and I know like the Letterman one's crazy. I know that's on here, so honestly, we could just kind of let it rip.
All right, so I think to me, the granddaddy of them all, is John Hinckley, with Jodie Foster, So John, and like it was weird when I was like researching and going to different websites looking for a lot of lists did not include him.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
You don't know John Hinckley
tried to kill the president. Yeah.
Assassination attempt.
Right.
On Reagan.
Yeah. And it had nothing to do with Reagan. Okay. So Jodie Foster, I think her first big role, I think you just did the movie watch, A Taxi Driver.
Yeah.
Right. So Jodie Foster was like the young girl who was getting trafficked in Taxi Driver, and John Hinckley somehow like decided like that's the one, and like fell in love with her. To the point that when she went to Yale for college, he moved to New Haven and would like send her letters, drop her off stuff, leave her voicemails, like was being a creep for years. And then he was like, I just have to get on her radar. I have to do something to impress her. And so he had like fantasized about hijacking an airline was like one of his plots to get on her, get her love and get her attention. And then, one of the central plots of Taxi Driver is, the assassination attempt or like plotting to assassinate, no spoilers for a movie that came out in 1976, a politician. And so he's like, you know what? That's what I'm going to do. And so he started to trail Jimmy Carter all over the country. Okay. Like he was trailing Jimmy Carter at different events. And then he eventually got arrested in Nashville on a firearms charge. So they, somehow they, Secret Service, the cops picked this guy up. They sent him to a psychiatric hospital. He gets out and he's like, nope, like this is the plan. So Reagan was, sworn in January of 81. Hinckley shot him in March of 1981. He'd only been president for like 2 months. And his whole thing was, I have to impress Jodie Foster. And so he had the assassination attempt on Reagan. He ended up shooting 4 people total that day, including, I think it was the press secretary, James Brady. He got shot in the head and had like issues until he died. They actually ruled, he died in 2014, James Brady did, and they ruled it a homicide 33 years after the incident because like his health was never the same. Mm-hmm. So once he finally passed, they went back and ruled it a homicide because I
didn't even know they could do that.
I didn't know that either, but that's according to the internet. And but he had like some paralysis type issues. He had all sorts of other issues. There was an officer and a Secret Service agent who were both shot and wounded. And then Reagan also got shot. So it was a ricochet supposedly off of the car, the presidential limo. Like it went into his chest, and that's why like they didn't see it at first because it was like a small wound, and then he was like in the limo supposedly and was like, hey, like I'm hit. So then they rushed him to the hospital, and he had like a long recovery where George H.W. Bush, who was then vice president, was effectively running the country for a period of time because Reagan was, bed rest, So wild story, all to impress Jodie Foster. Hinckley was released though.
Yeah, recently.
Yeah, so he was released on July 27th, 2016, and there were like all these conditions about his release. Okay, like you have to live with your mother, you have to go to work, some kind of job 3 days a week. You can't contact anybody from any of the victims' families, or you can't contact Jodie Foster. And then that went on for like a probationary period. Oh, and then he had to like surrender his browser history. Like that was like you have to know what you're up to, what you're looking at. Yeah, smart. And then eventually he got like off of that probation. Now he's like a YouTube musician.
Yeah, he plays guitar.
Yeah,
on YouTube.
Yeah. So he's got like 30,000 subscribers or something like that. So
it's crazy.
It's fucking insane.
So imagine that being obsessed with Jodie Foster led to him making an assassination attempt on the president.
Yeah.
So that's the first story. I don't know how that's not on any list. Like
it should be on every list.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was on some list, but there was like when you're going through it, you're doing all sorts of different research and pages, and I'm like, where's the Hinckley one?
There's this quote I'm reading right now that he wrote to Foster. I don't know if it was a letter or what. I assume so. And it says, over the past 7 months, I've left you dozens of poems, letters, and love messages in a faint hope that you could develop an interest in me. Although we talked on the phone a couple of times, I never had the nerve to simply approach you and introduce myself. The reason I'm going ahead with this assassination attempt now is because I cannot wait any longer to impress you.
Love, John.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It's like people are unwell, man. Like
he's very unwell.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah. Well, all of these people, but it's like, how do you get to the point where it's like, that's a rational thought?
Yeah. And this is kind of like not really, because two very different situations, but it's kind of like I did that QAnon episode with Nadu and the guy who thought that Frank Cali, the Staten Island mobster, was involved with the deep state or some shit.
Yeah, and then walked up and killed, right?
Yeah,
yeah,
in the middle of broad daylight.
Yeah.
All right, then. Who's the second stalker here?
All right, this one to me was the most deranged, maybe, and fucked up story. So this guy, Dana Martin, who was a Justin Bieber stalker. Do you know this story?
I don't, actually.
Okay. So Dana Martin was in jail. He's serving 2 life sentences currently, and was at the time when this plan was concocted, for raping and murdering a 15-year-old girl. So he was in jail. He was serving time in New Mexico, and he meets this guy. I don't know how to pronounce his name exactly. Mark Stackey, Staake. Okay. And he convinces Stackey, when Stackey gets out, to castrate and murder Justin Bieber. And he had developed he had this whole line of he was just like this pathological liar. Okay. And he's in jail, and he's like and he feels that this guy Stackey is susceptible to this. So when Stackey gets out, he's like, all right, here's if you do this for me, here's what's in it for you. An immediate $50,000. You'll have the deed to a farm that used to be owned by Michael J. Fox. Okay. And then there was an additional, Chinese heroin deal. I'm going to give you the contact to be like a Chinese heroin dealer. Okay. And then $2,500 for each testicle bonus if you deliver those. You want it as a trinket. So this guy was like, all right. And he convinces, the guy Stackey convinces his nephew, Tanner Ruane, to go along with this plot. And they eventually, they get foiled and caught and arrested, and they were thrown in jail. But this guy, Martin, he had a Justin Bieber tattoo. Okay. Like, he was obsessed with Justin Bieber while he was in jail. And then there was, I think it was The Atlantic, went and did an interview with him in prison after this plot was foiled. And he had a couple of quotes in there about Bieber. And he's like, hey, once you figured out like what the interview was about, he goes, what are you trying to get me to say? That I love Justin Bieber and I think he's gorgeous. He's a good looking kid. Would I go to bed with him? He's legal, so probably. And so he was just like, he loved Justin Bieber. And it's like, well, if you love Bieber so much, why did you want to do this? And he said it was because he changed. So he loved Bieber when it was baby, baby. And then when he came out with like the edgier, like, I don't know, like that Boyfriend song, where he changed his look a little bit, he was like, fuck this Justin Bieber. Like, he's changed. He's cringe. He's all that, like, he's trying to be this tough guy.
Bad boy, yeah.
Yeah, he's trying to be this tough guy. Like, I'll show him who's tough. Like, he should just be who he always was. It's like he's a phony now. So then that's when he like developed this plot. Okay, I'm going to show you. And then the guy said in that article, he goes, they're like, well, what would you do if you could do anything? He's like, well, if I was a free man, I would throw Justin Bieber in a cage, rape him repeatedly, and put it on YouTube. That's what this guy, Dana Martin.
That's fucking absurd.
Yeah. So that to me was like the most vile. He's already like the scum of the earth, horrible human for what he was in jail to begin with. And then he was this obsessed with Justin Bieber that he had devised this whole plot where he like conned these guys into trying to do, just these despicable things to Justin Bieber because he changed his clothes a little bit and cut his hair.
See, but it also shows how deeply crazy these people are. To like Michael J. Fox getting dragged in here, a deed to his farm is just like a little detail you said that went overlooked, but that's just where like why Michael J. Fox?
Yeah, and
it's probably because he had infatuation with like
probably had with him too.
With like
maybe
young looking cats like
that's a good point. That's a very good point. And but that was like the Michael J. Fox. It was like a deed to a farm that he used to own. It was like that was like part of the bounty for going after Bieber. So it was like a very like detailed, intricate lie that he got these two guys to try to go along with. And then they were like, well, this guy set us up. Like, where's our Chinese heroin deal? Like we were lied to about this.
These guys might be the dumbest people on the planet. Yeah. Like that guy's mentally ill. He's fucked up. He's crazy.
Yeah.
But these guys are stupid as hell.
But they're probably all, I mean, obviously they're also, they might be like mentally incapacitated, you know, like that kind of thing. So
are they all still in jail now?
I believe they are all still in jail. Yeah.
I mean, you can't let people like that out.
Yeah. But that's like the other thing. There's like a lot of these stalker stories that you read about. It's like, oh, they had 6 months probation.
Yeah.
It's like, what do you,
and they get a 1,000-yard restraining order.
Like that's not nearly enough.
That doesn't matter to them.
Yeah.
I like also $2,500 is way too
Bro, his testicles would go for millions.
Yes.
Millions.
That's like almost as unbelievable as when a dinosaur went for $12 million in Jurassic World 2. That pissed me off. You know? Justin Bieber's testicle is worth more than $2,500. A T-Rex is worth more than $12.5 million.
How much is do bull testicles go for? You're the
bull semen.
The semen goes
thousands,
right?
Yeah.
So you're telling me
Bieber's fucking
dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got.
Bieber's berry's worth more than that. That's a lot. Dude.
Like maybe 500 million.
Yeah,
you never know.
Yeah, don't put a price tag on
I think
Bieber's
if you're
nuts.
like a sperm donor, you get like just your run of the mill guy, you get more than 2,500.
Exactly. Don't put a price tag on Bieber's balls. That's for sure. Before we get into the next one, though, Chief, I want to talk to you about a promo code. We have a discount for MUGSY jeans.
Okay.
But a little bit about MUGSY. Obviously, the Chicago office, we love them. Mm-hmm. They make the most comfortable jeans, chino shorts, and joggers ever. They got this like buttery, soft, patented stretch material that looks stylish, but they're insanely comfortable.
Speaking of balls.
Yeah, speaking of balls.
Yeah, the MUGSY jeans are good for your balls.
Yeah, but they're never too baggy, never too tight.
They're perfect.
They just dropped the Cool Max denim that's like air conditioner for your legs. They spent years in the lab developing this breathable jeans, the most breathable jeans ever. Designed with lightweight fibers to ensure a cool breeze with every single step. So go from the backyard barbecue to the bar in one swift motion all summer long.
That's what you need.
Yeah.
Because I don't like wearing shorts, if I'm being honest. Like when I was traveling a little bit, if I'm flying somewhere, I'm putting pants on. People give me a hard time about not wanting to. Sometimes I'll kick my shoes off if I got clean socks and it's a cross country flight. I'd never wear jeans, or I never wear shorts rather, because I feel like, look at my pale, hairy, gross leg. I wear pants, and now I'm going to be wearing these the Cool Max denim from MUGSY because that's the best case scenario.
And I'd lean that I'm probably more shorts, but I'm like, I guess not by much. But their shorts are great too.
Yeah.
Their shorts are awesome. So head to mugsy.com and get 10% off now using code Chicago. That's 10% off some of the most premium jeans, chinos, swimwear, and shorts on the planet. MUGSY also offers free shipping and returns, so there's absolutely no risk giving them a try. If you're in Chicago, Boston, D.C., or Austin, Texas, make sure to head downtown and check out their storefront as well. Easy vibes every time. Enjoy a beer while you shop.
It's a cool store, and it's on Armitage, which is like that stretch of Armitage is one of my favorite like little areas of the city.
Yeah,
it's a great spot. Yeah,
it's very nice. Go get some MUGSYs.
Yep.
All right, who we got? Number 3.
Number 3 is the Queen. And it's Taylor Swift. I would say if I had to put a gamble on it, I'd say that all time she's the Hank Aaron of having stalkers. Like just nobody can touch her. And when you Google like Taylor Swift stalkers, it's like a Rolodex of names that pop up. So I picked 4 to highlight, and one in particular. But the list, like I said, we could probably do an hour on just Taylor Swift stalkers because there's been so many that at her properties now and at venues. She obviously has like a gazillion people in security.
Yeah. But
she also has like installed like facial recognition software and cameras. So if like you have a security camera, it will like pick up people that she has had issues with and will be like, hey, go get them. Okay. Because it's that serious. Like I'm a little nervous to say this. I've been kind of avoiding Twitter since the draft because I went after the Swifties a little bit because they make me scared because they're crazy. I'm talking about the adult diaper Swifties. She has like incredible defensive fans, but this is like that flip side where it's like all the money in the world, all the fame in the world, it's just like I wouldn't want to, like, I don't know how you sleep at night.
Yeah, like I don't think these aren't Swifties in my mind.
They would
unless
say
if they are. Unless
they
if
would
you,
say that they're Swifties. They're in love with her. Okay, they're in love with her, and they want her. The theme is seemingly, it's like she belongs to me and nobody else. Okay, so there was this guy, Roger Alvarado, who, again, this is a guy who got like 6 months. Okay, broke into her somehow her New York apartment. Okay, they found him asleep. The police found him asleep in her bed. He had showered in her bathroom, got himself all like, the police officer's quote was like, yeah, he was fresh as a daisy when we picked him up. But he like broke into her house and decided like, hey, like I got to get ready to meet Taylor. So I'm going to get myself all cleaned up and I'm going to like doze off a little bit in her bed. And like somehow like he had tripped security systems because she's got security like through the wazoo. And the police came and he was just napping in her bed. Like that, like the idea, like you have to sell that house. Like in my head, like every time you walk in your bedroom, you're going to have the image of this guy, Roger Alvarado, just like deciding like, hey, this is my time for Taylor. I'm going to sleep in her bed. So completely fucked up. Next on that list is this guy, Eric Swarbrick. So Eric lived in Austin, Texas. He drove from Austin to Nashville, her Nashville residence, 3 different times, delivered over 40 letters to both Taylor and like her label and like I think her agent. And he got, none of his letters were ever responded to. So he got increasingly angry, and he would like cite, he's like, these letters started off as cordial and nobody responded to me, so now I'm angry.
It was like a legitimate stan.
Yeah, kind of. Yes,
yeah.
Exactly. Good call. I should have put that together. But his thing was like, hey, look, Taylor has reached out to me over 100 times in my dreams. Okay. So like they had a relationship literally in his dreams. And he was like, so that gives me the right and grounds and like we're supposed to be together. And then as things like progressed and he was getting ignored, he was like, my love is stabbing me in the back by not responding to me. So then he was like threatening he's like, I'm going to kill her. And there's like, he would send a letter to like her lawyers and her agent and her label. I'm going to kill her and there's nothing you can do to stop it. And like, so they eventually like picked him up. And like he went to jail, but he was doing like this drive, 900 miles to deliver these letters and like, to try to fall in love with Taylor. And because she was reaching out to him via dreams. And like you say these sentences out loud and you're just like, what the fuck? No thoughts.
I mean, it's nuts, obviously. But
Yeah.
This is one where I'm kind of not surprised, like where this shit doesn't happen more.
Well,
people
it does
always
happen
like
more. It happens to her all the time.
Yeah, but people always have like that weird manifestation shit, which there's a normal side to it, and then there's a not normal side. Point being, this guy, but this is like something where this guy in his head, and I know a lot of them thought this.
Yeah,
that's a common theme. But dreams are weird.
Dreams are weird, but it's like you have to know the difference between, like, I mean, I've had dreams of, fun dreams about probably celebrities and other people before, but it's not like, oh, well, now we got to we should get married. She had another guy, Muhammad Jafar, who, again, never went to jail, never like he just had like restraining orders and probation, but like was trying to break into like all of her homes. Like he would just like going around different homes and like would repeatedly, I think it was the New York estate, try to break into the New York place like multiple times. Should have called this guy Roger Alvarado. Like he knew how to do it. This guy didn't, but was like constantly seen trying to break in to her residence. So it's like that one stuck out to me because it's like, where is our justice system? Because if you see like, hey, like I have this repeated problem for people trying to break into my place and my houses, and they're stalking me. And we know that this guy is on camera multiple times trying to break in. You finally do something about it. and he just walks out like basically the same day. Like no jail time. You know, he'll have like some probation and some like mental health, you know, like psych ward, like, but he's not locked up. He just has to like court ordered therapy or whatever. But it's not like, I don't know how you could repeatedly try to break into people's houses for a period of 6 months and just like have no issues.
Yeah.
It's fucking bananas to me. And then there was this guy, Julius Sandrock. He lived in Colorado. And then he drove from Colorado to her house in Beverly Hills. Shout out Taylor's got a ton of houses in awesome places. Beverly Hills, she's got one in Newport, Rhode Island, Nashville, New York, like wherever she needs to be, she's got probably like a palace. Well earned. But this guy said, hey, like, I got to be closer to her. So he drove to Colorado. He tried to like, and he had a ski mask and a knife. And they got picked up outside her house, but he had actually moved. Oh no, I'm sorry. That was another guy. Another guy decided, hey, I have to be closer to Taylor in order to like win her love. He had like grew up in Georgia. He moved to Nashville and was just like seen like walking by her house all the time and he like was living in Nashville basically for the express purpose of stalking Taylor Swift.
Probably not a good move.
Not great.
No.
Not great. So that's like I said, we could go on and on and on and on for Taylor. Have you heard the Keira Knightley one?
No.
So she was a big crush of mine back in the day too. Not a stalker though, normal. There was this guy, Mark Revel. So Mark Revel, she was living in London. Mark Revel, and he's like, when you pull up his picture, he's one of those ones where you're like, oh, that's a psycho. Like just from like the look of his face, you're like, gah. Same thing with that guy Eric Swarbrick. You're like, you would see a guy, some of these people like walking down the street, and you know, you just like, you make eye contact with a person. Sometimes you're like, I'm gonna take this person needs a wide berth.
Oh, dude, this guy's scary.
Yeah,
this guy's scary as fuck. Holy
fucking
shit.
Real scary. Okay, and so he would like just draw. Like repeatedly over and over, his thing was to draw, take sidewalk chalk and go down her street and then like do like a big arrow to her door, and that he would do that like repeatedly. Then he was like writing her letters and stuff, and she's living in this like London house, flat, whatever they call them over there, with her husband. And then he dropped off a USB one time. It was like, listen to this music. It was all like cat music. Like cat music, like meowing, but in a jingle. Then he
like
showed
fucking Malmix commercial.
Basically, exactly. Okay, so then there was another time where she finally like called the police. He was like meowing to her through like her mailbox slit, and so eventually like her husband like came down. They had like a scuffle. And this guy got arrested. I think he went to a psych ward too. And then so he went to a psych ward, and she's like, we're selling this house and we're getting the fuck out of here. And that's the thing where it's like, yeah, I can't even feel safe in your own house. Like that part, like fucking, I don't know. It makes me feel very bad for these people.
Oh,
right?
it's
like
horrible.
You have to have like, everyone needs like one place where they feel like genuinely like, and if you can't even get that in your own home, that fucking sucks. You got this psychopath guy, scary. Like you see the picture and you're like, oh my God, what did this guy do? And you're like, he meowed at her.
Yeah.
You know, like, and in a way it's like, he's so scary. And the fact that that's his thing makes it that much crazier. You know, like if it was almost like you expect him to be like, I snipped off some of your hair while you weren't looking and I'm going to murder you. This guy was just like, no, I'm just going to meow at her. Like mentally ill. So that was Mark Revel.
You know what movie does a pretty good portrayal of what it must be like that I found particularly terrifying is, you ever seen The Sixth Sense?
Yeah.
The opening scene. And it's not a stalker, it's more so a scorned ex-patient. I think it's Donnie Wahlberg actually plays the guy who's in his bathroom. Him and his wife get home.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That movie does a very good job of what it must be like to walk in
the
and see
setup of
someone
that
in their
whole
house.
plot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the whole plot.
That is the whole plot.
Yeah, I don't want to say anything if you've never seen it.
Paul, that movie came out like 23 years ago.
1999.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
But still, it's one of those two. If you somehow avoided the Sixth Sense spoiler for this many years, like, credit to you, respect.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be the one to blow it. But
I kind of do want to be the one to blow it.
but regardless, that
Harry, have you
opening
seen
scene,
it? Okay.
That opening scene is terrifying.
Yep.
And that's what I really imagine this is like.
I think that's perfect. I thought you were going to say The Bodyguard, Whitney Houston.
Oh, I haven't seen that actually.
It's not a good movie,
No.
but it's the most famous song of Whitney, and like I don't want to give that plot
You
away.
think it's the most famous song she has?
For her vocals, yeah. Where she like,
Yeah.
I will always love you. I
Yeah.
mean, like nobody sings that like her. Not even Dolly Parton, and Dolly
Yeah.
Parton wrote it.
Yeah.
So,
That's true.
do you know the story about that song?
Dolly like said that too. She's like, "Oh no, that's hers or something now."
Well, so Everybody Forever, because I think she wrote that song and performed it like 1974, something like that. And Elvis, like all Johnny Cash, like all these like mega stars were like, "Hey, can I record that?" And like really, and she's like, "No." Like imagine, and I think I'm almost positive like Elvis was one of them. So I might have the years. I don't know when he died, but he was like one of the people who wanted to record that song. Like imagine being Dolly Parton and Elvis is like, "I want to record that," and be like, "Nope," like fuck off, Elvis. And then they did it for the movie. And she sang it, and she's like, it's your song now, babe."
It's yours.
Yeah.
Respect.
Yeah.
Respect.
Yeah.
Before you do our last two, I want to talk about this Barstool Bolero Invitational.
I'm very excited for this.
Yeah, this is going to be sweet. So if you guys know Bolero, it is the largest owner and operator of bowling centers across the country. And they have, obviously, expansive arcades, great signature cocktails, great menu, and great lanes, of course. But they got this Barstool Bolero Invitational, and you could join. It's easy. Simply enter your name and visit any Bolero near you and bowl for your chance to be entered to win one of our ultimate prizes, including limited edition Barstool bowling gear, an event at any Bolero, and the ultimate grand prize, which includes tickets to the big game for football and the big game series for basketball. That the professional level I'm talking.
Yeah, professional
so you guys know
level.
what I'm saying there. I'm speaking in code because of legal reasons.
Yep.
But those are two great prizes. Plus a trip to the Barstool Bolero Invitational finale in Chicago on August 9th. The fun doesn't stop there, though. Enjoy a guaranteed spot in the lanes. When you reserve a lane or book an event at a Bolero near you, visit Bolero.com using promo code Barstool for 15% off your next lane reservation. The offer is only valid through August 31st, so make sure you jump on it. And just, make sure you visit Bolero.com/Barstool to learn more about the Barstool Bolero Invitational that starts July 12th. Participation is open, though, until July 23rd. No skill is required. All participants have an equal chance of winning. To find a participating center near you, just visit Bolero.com/Barstool.
Yeah, and this is one of the, I feel like bowling is an underrated summer event. You get one of those scorching hot days where it's like, I don't want to be sitting outside for anything. They always got that AC pumping in there, baby. It's the best. So, so check out Bolero.
All right, the final two.
Final two. This one to me is just kind of a little bit funny. Have you heard the Robert Pattinson one?
No.
So he was shooting some movie in Spain, and there was this woman who would show up at his apartment every single day, like watching him, stalking him, trying to talk to him, saying all the, like, "I love you, take me," like, "Let's get married," like every single day, following him around the town in Spain. One day he's just like, "All right, let's go on a date."
Whoa.
So Robert Pattinson took his stalker on a date, and then he said that, like, by design, all he did the entire date was complain about his life, and then she never showed up again.
Oh, stop.
Yeah.
Really?
It's like, "Life sucks. I have to be at the shoot in the morning. Like, makeup takes forever. Paparazzi this." Like, all he did was, like, be the biggest negative Debbie Downer in the world. And the woman was like, "This guy sucks." Like, left him alone. So he sandbagged her.
Kind of genius.
Yeah, super smart.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you ever have a girl that you
Is her name public?
It's not public.
All right,
no.
because I feel like I need to see like how crazy this person looks to judge the move that Robert Pattinson made. Because obviously, like, I think inherently a dude stalker is scarier.
Yeah.
for sure.
1,000%.
But like, there's definitely, you get a crazy woman like that. It could be hairy. It could get hairy.
I mean, what's that expression? Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think that's definitely, there's some, but like, you're not like, I was saying this to somebody like recently, where like, I don't think I've ever felt physically threatened. You know, like I just like walked through, like, because this girl was saying like, oh, well, you know, I have my location services on in case I go on a date with somebody and they're a creep and my friends know. So if something, I'm like, well, that thought just has never occurred to me.
For sure.
Like, I'll just walk home and probably be fine.
Yeah.
Except for that one guy who's murdering people who look like me in the city.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely scary to be a girl.
Way scarier.
Yeah.
You're way scarier. I do whatever I want.
A lot of weirdos.
Yeah. That's like to me, the epitome of male privilege. Like, I never really have to feel scared. Like, I would have to put myself in a situation.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if you're walking through, like, I wouldn't say that completely, because if you're walking through and you see some sketchy characters at night, like, it might get your guard up, but it's nowhere near the level of fear that
All right. How about this as an example?
a lady would feel.
As an example, when we went to the Beer Olympics,
Yeah.
and every single person there was fucking enormous and 10 times stronger than us.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what being a girl is like every day walking down the street.
Yeah.
Where like every single person, or at least half of them, are giant dudes who, when there was like that old like Chappelle quote about this, a joke about this, where he's like, one thing, he's like, this was in the 90s when he was on his like come up, and he did like this set for like these like kind of like gang leader guys in New York. I think it was New York. And they paid him in a duffel bag with like $10,000 of cash. And he said that he got on the subway in New York home. And he's like, the whole time, like, I was like, holy shit, like if they knew what I had, like I'd be in so much trouble, blah, blah. He's like, that's what it must be like walking around with a vagina. Like every dude just wants what you have at all times. And
It's kind of fucked up when you put it that way.
Seriously. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'd re-up as a guy every time if they gave us the choice. Because I don't have to deal with that. That's a lot better. So Robert Pattinson, yeah, sure, I'll go on my date with a stalker and I'll just suck on the date intentionally. She'll leave me alone, and it worked.
Yeah, it's a lot different.
Yeah.
All right, then. Who's our final one? It's got to be Letterman, then. That's the one I teased off the top of the show, right?
So I'm wondering if you know more about this than I do, because there's two different stories. Mm-hmm. Okay, so the one that I had written down was the Margaret Ray one.
I think that's it.
Okay,
it's been a long time since I've
so there's this other story where it was like not as much of a stalker, but like Letterman was having an affair, and like the woman that he was having an affair with, like her boyfriend or fiance or something, was trying to blackmail Letterman and was like doing like creepy things like through the mail with him.
Yeah, it's not that one, because I know that he like had to like make a comment about it, that I believe.
Yeah. So this is the Margaret Ray one. So Margaret Ray, kind of similar almost to the guy who was having the dreams about Taylor Swift. She was just convinced that she and Letterman were in a romantic relationship. And she did things like she would break into his house like on multiple occasions. She at one point was like camped out on his like private tennis court on his property. She stole his car, and then just be like, it's a lover squirrel. Like, what do you want? And it, like, eventually, like, you know, he had the restraining orders, but same thing for stalking Letterman. Like, she never really did any time. It wasn't until she got caught in Florida stalking a former astronaut that she got arrested and got sent to jail. Is that the story you're talking about?
Yeah, pretty much. But she got arrested in the Lincoln Tunnel because she didn't pay a toll. But then they looked it up, and she was driving his Porsche, which is like
the stolen. Oh yeah,
yes, like that was. Yeah, it's like, could you imagine, like, ma'am, like you didn't pay a toll, like, and then you run the plates, and
it's like, oh my God, David Letterman's car.
Yeah, this woman just stole it. And then, like you said, there was that story of her being on the tennis courts and like just sleeping, and it kind of never went on. And I want to say Dave, like I know like Stern used to kind of joke with him about it and whatnot. So it was almost like they used to do like prank calls, like David Letterman stalker and whatnot.
Yeah.
So like that's kind of why maybe it was like publicized in that way.
Mm-hmm.
And Letterman actually kind of treated it as a joke himself. So that's why it was kind of a thing.
Well, and then that's why it's like, again, it goes back to the other point. Like, this crazy stalker.
Yeah, like hilarious. I just looked it up. He's like, Letterman's, he did have the top 10.
Yeah.
He said top 10 things I need to do before I leave NBC. And he's like, send change of address forms to that woman who breaks into my house. So it kind of became a thing.
Like a talking point.
Where it's like, listen, we know so much about, obviously, Stone because of the assassination attempt. And then Taylor, there's one every other week. Probably a lot of people didn't know about Pattinson or Keira Knightley.
Yeah.
I would assume, at least not here in America.
Have you ever seen a picture of this woman?
Yes.
She kind of, there's like this one portrait of her. She kind of reminds me of the mom in Requiem for a Dream.
Yeah, she kind of looks like that. Yeah.
So, which kind of plays to like the whole, she must be crazy. But then you see like her prison stuff. She doesn't look anything like that. But like the one portrait, she's got like the 80s perm and the big glasses. Yeah. And you're like, oh, fuck.
But here's what's interesting too, is here's a little nugget. When he did an interview with Barbara Walters once, and he mentioned that he never said her by name. He never outed her name on the air because he said that he had great compassion for her, so he often declined to press charges.
Yeah. So maybe that's why she wasn't arrested.
He said he wasn't comfortable with the humanity of that. So there you go. That's kind of why probably the astronaut.
Yeah. His name was like Story Musgrave or something like that.
Yeah.
I think that happened in 94.
And you're right. It is kind of Requiem for a Dream because it said she was prescribed antipsychotic drugs to help treat her schizophrenia.
Yep.
And improved her condition, but she would stop taking them because she didn't like the side effects and whatnot. So that kind of explains why she continued to do it for so long.
Yeah. And it's just like that whole thing is just, you always wonder how like people get like that. But there was like that story about, I feel like I heard it recently somewhere, but this guy was on meds for Parkinson's. Okay, like early onset Parkinson's, and it gives you like compulsive behavior. So he became a gambling addict, and he lost like millions of dollars. But he lost millions of dollars because he was on these meds that made him like, he was never like a gambling addict before. And then he got on these and he sued and won. But it was like, it was like the Parkinson's meds made him crazy. So it's like, I don't know, like that's the type of stuff that like freaks me out. Like you got to be like super, I don't know, aware of like yourself and then like what you're taking and just make sure so you don't like go insane.
Yeah, that wasn't that Roseanne's excuse for saying like some of that racist shit a couple of years ago.
I think
she said she was on some.
Yeah, I think that was part of it. I don't know if it was that same medicine. But
no, it wasn't the same thing.
But she also got like hit by a car like bad when she was like 14. Roseanne.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so she got hit by a car, smacked her head badly, like, and then lived in like a mental institution for like a year or 18 months or something like that because of how like scrambled her brain was after she was hit by a car. So she had like severe head trauma that she's been dealing with her entire life.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and to add more context here about Letterman, this, besides Hinckley, like this lady has a Wikipedia page. So it was like that level of infamy, I guess, where, people knew about her. So that's how I knew.
Yeah.
It also, like, we talk about how scary it is, but also must be so awful to just kind of lose your mind like that.
That's like, that's got to be worse than anything.
Yeah.
Like
I actually have a family member who has that. And like, it's kind of crazy talking through all of this. Mm-hmm. Like he told me before about how he has like talked to Taylor Swift at like the airport and shit like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And it's just like, and
like,
he wasn't like that his whole life.
So he just kind of went.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very sad.
It is.
It's very sad and unfortunate. It's like these people.
And you wonder,
really
like,
control this.
And it's like you wonder what like the root cause is.
Yeah.
Like it's got to be some deep insecurity about like their everyday life that's been around for forever, and you just convince yourself of like you have to be more.
But I think schizophrenia is like a chemically
An imbalance
type thing.
Oh, that's what it. Oh,
he has.
he does.
The family member I have has.
Okay.
Has
Okay. I missed that part.
Yeah.
I didn't hear you say that. Yeah. Like.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's.
No, it's very sad.
Yeah, it is.
You know.
And that's like, so I had my grandfather. They never really diagnosed him with what it was, but he went from being able to drive a car, literally like he was a World War II pilot. Drive a car. When he retired, he like bought himself a little twin engine plane. He went from being able to fly a plane to like, I want to say like 9 months later, 9 months to a year later, couldn't talk, couldn't walk, couldn't eat, feeding tube, nothing. And it's like, you hope, like they were saying like they said it was Alzheimer's, but they're like, I don't know. Cause like he just lost all function so quickly. Alzheimer's is usually a slow burn. Can you imagine like, what if he had like his full cognitive abilities with just no ability to do anything? You're just like a fucking prisoner in your own body.
That's kind of what ALS is.
Yeah, like that too. Like that to me is
Except
like
physically you can't do anything.
Yeah, it's just awful.
Yeah, that's
awful. Yeah, you got to keep your noggin right.
Yeah, apparently. I mean, this is like a whole other podcast, but apparently I was watching the news that they might have a Alzheimer's drug. Just got approved. Yeah.
Wow, I know they've been trying for 40 years or something.
And I don't know if it pushes back it. I don't know exactly.
Slows it maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'd have to look into it more, but all right. I was talking stalkers.
Yep. Do you have any stalkers?
I don't think so.
That's good.
Yeah. Do you?
Not that I know of.
Yeah.
If I do, they're not doing a very good job.
All right then, everybody. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. That's it for today. We'll be back tomorrow. We will see you then.